Well, do any of you remember the outrage in Washington over those health insurance rate hikes?
Anthem Blue Cross in California tried to jack up rates by nearly 40%. 40%. Anybody's paycheck gone up 40%? As much as 39%. Anywhere from 35 to 39%. Even if you're lucky enough to have health care, it is digging deeper and deeper into your pocket.
But when the mayor of Los Angeles says that electric rates could go up by nearly 30% to pay for the green push, here is the reaction in Washington. Not much. Let's see if we've got a little creative there. Anyway, Chris Horner from the Creative Enterprise Institute knows exactly what's going on here. What is going on here, Chris?
Well, the president and his team don't have a problem with what he called skyrocketing prices. They have a problem with certain skyrocketing prices. We know this because energy prices, which he vowed to cause to skyrocket, are paid, unlike health insurance premiums, by everybody. That is, the poorest among us, seniors, you name it. So it's not necessarily skyrocketing prices that he worries about. It's about really who gets the revenue. If it's private actors, that's a bad thing. If it's the state, by design, as with cap and trade, it's a good thing. And there's one other aspect to it, and it's control. You'll see with the healthcare takeover, and like the effective proposed takeover of the energy sector, it moves decisions from individuals, producers and consumers, to the all-knowing benevolent state. That's a good.
All right, so it's sort of like when you don't say boo about GM recalling cars, but a lot about Toyota recalling cars, something like that, right?
There are some double standards here, but I think it's actually a little bit more political dishonesty. Remember, there may be a strong body of evidence indicating that the president's economic literacy isn't all that it might be, but this is not one of those exhibits. He's stating a truth that very few people in Washington do. The point of cap and trade, for it to work, it's axiomatic. Prices have to, as he said, necessarily skyrocket. So the rest of the rhetoric is dishonest.
I want to emphasize that point you just. We do mean skyrocket. This isn't like a 5 or 6 or 7% deal. For a lot of folks, right, it could mean a 30% hike in their utility, 40, in some locales 50%, all in the name of going green, which longer term is worth it and good and decent and wonderful for society, which, by the way, in the end might be the case, but man, you're going to pay through the nose for it. So that kind of increase is palatable and even okay, and in some parts even to be encouraged if it gets us in that direction, but not what insurance companies do.
The president said necessarily skyrocketing. That is a truth. Now remember, assume no population growth. You're talking about coercing people out of their lifestyles of 83% reduction in energy use, barring the invention of pixie dust, which I suspect is highly unlikely. So you're talking about far more than 28%. It's not going to work.
All right. And I misspoke, Chris, with Competitive Enterprise Institute. I was referring to the creative nature of this. I apologize for that. But, Chris, very good having you on. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
All right. Well.